Welcome to Doom Scroll. I'm Lisa Curry.
And I'm Matt Sheffield. And today we're joined by a friend of the show, Lance Axemet. Welcome back, Lance. Good to have you.
I like to think of myself as the returning champion. I'm happy to be here.
You definitely are. Nice to see you.
You are. I think you do have the most appearances, actually. So, which makes sense since you are affiliated with Flux as our associate editor.
Saw a running tally on the wall behind me. We'll make it.
Yeah,
I'll decorate
we're gonna issue a trophy at the end of the year. So far you're in first place. Kind of the Olympics. Yeah. It's the Olympics of podcasting. So Republicans, of course, are going fucking insane over Kamala being the presumptive Democratic nominee, and it's oh god, it's my favorite thing. I didn't realize this would be so fun. I thought it would feel like shit, but it is such a good time.
Yeah, it is such a flashback. Like everybody, I think it's been such a weight off not having a candidate who is dead running for president as the challenger to a dictator. One of you, like who thought that would feel good?
The part that just, I don't know, blows my mind is that they literally have been calling for Joe Biden to like step down. They've been trying to impeach him for forever. And then suddenly they essentially get what they want and they're like flabbergasted. They're like, what do we do? What's happening? And they're like running, trying to catch up, trying to figure out what in the world we're supposed to do with this. Like they seem at a complete loss at how to handle the situation.
They really are.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. I love that their entire argument, or their whole thing was Joe Biden's too old, and now Trump is the oldest candidate in history. So it's like, okay, this is also like how you can tell that they had absolutely no plan in mind to like do anything for people aside like for them to gain more power and to keep power, because had they had any kind of plan for things that they actually wanted to do, they'd be like, oh, okay, he's out. Anyway, we're still going to give everyone health care. So nothing really.
No, they didn't. Yeah, it was a completely nihilistic message and a message of nothing, a campaign about nothing, to be all Seinfeldian. But and even more idiotic is that apparently Donald Trump thought that Joe Biden was too Irish to drop out.
I don't even know what that means. I don't understand.
It's so stupid because like I don't, like if you're white in America, you don't really think about I don't know people who do think about their ancestry very much.
I think Irish people do. I'm half Irish. And I think it's a really, really.
I am too, though. I'm part Irish, like half Irish.
I feel like everybody says they're part Irish. I don't know. Like everybody's like, yeah, I'm part Irish. I think. Like I think it's the one. It's like the group that we all know at some point was like oppressed, but is like we can claim some sort of connection to. Like, yeah, I'm Irish.
Yeah. Well, actually, my family were slaves, so
yeah. So like, I know what it's like.
I mean, I do know we're a hard-headed people, but Joe Biden was also. I mean, for me, I saw people pushing for him to step down and him saying no again and again. And then when the Jamie Raskin letter came out, I was like, oh, that's a wrap. That's the end. He's dropping.
Yeah. Well, and then it happened. Yeah, it was quick and they're absolutely at a loss of what to say about her. And I think Ted Cruz exemplified this dumbest attack I've seen on her yet.
At the outset, Kamala can't have my gun, she can't have my gasoline engine, and she sure as hell can't have my steaks and cheeseburgers.
What?
Like, can you imagine? I feel like that was like a conversation he had after he invited her over for dinner. She was over at his house, like, you cannot have my cheeseburgers. It's such a weird thing to like go at. Like it's like such a strange Republican talking point that like you just really don't hear reflected on like. You don't hear Democrats talking about how we need to end cheeseburgers. Like you might hear some gun control conversations, but like where is this even coming from besides themselves? It's very strange to me.
It's really bizarre. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that Ted Cruz, when he ran for president himself, this is a flashback in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
he made a video shooting an automatic a machine gun, full machine gun, and cooking bacon with it. So like this guy has some weird hard on about food and guns.
It's like they're so cartoonish because I think that that's what works with their base. Like their base,
Yeah.
if they could just play old Bugs Bunny cartoons for their base to campaign somehow, I feel like that's how they would get it. Because it's like just because people are more health conscious in Los Angeles and New York typically, and that's where you'll find probably a higher percentage of vegans. Nobody's fucking driving out to Texas and taking cheeseburgers out of people's hands. We don't care. We have better things to do, it turns out.
Well, especially look at Ted Cruz. Like no one's taking that dude's hamburgers or bacon or whatever the fuck else he shoves in his mouth.
No, it is crazy. Like they have to pull every scare tactic they can imagine. It's like, what do people like? They enjoy bacon, they enjoy cheeseburgers. Say that these guys are taking them. That's going to get them off the couch because they've already pulled every other scare tactic they can think of. They already got the whole list of like, we got immigrants, we got what else? We got big government, cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers the next one.
Let's push them all together in the cheeseburger from hell. Basically. Well, and then so besides making these ridiculous food comments, we've also the Republicans House leaders have been at pains to tell their members stop making racist remarks about her because it's not going to be helpful to us. And Mike Johnson and his political House Speaker Mike Johnson has issued memos to them saying that this should not be about personalities, it should be about policy. And we have a record to compare. I think that's what they're talking about.
Like it just shows exactly like that they had no plan for like the thing that they wanted. They had no idea that this was going to happen, and they had nothing set up to prepare themselves for it. So they just go back on their basic, their base instinct, which is be racist and mean about shit. Like that's that's their go-to. If they have nothing else to say, like we got this, we're gonna go to that.
It's so funny because they just spent all this time at the convention trying to pretend that they were inclusive, and they're like, we like Black people and sex workers and, all the gay people are fine. And now that there is a Black woman running for president, they're like, fuck this, we can't have it. And I'm like, JD Vance is his comments on women. He honestly, if it were revealed that he was a Democratic plant, I would be 0% surprised because I'm like, how the fuck are you seriously going on television and saying people without children shouldn't be able to vote because we don't have like a stake in the future? Like, you were bleeding supporters. What are you?
Yeah.
You're stupid.
Well, okay. Well, now we got to roll it since you mentioned it.
Is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
First of all, he looks like a garbage pail kid. First of all.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's pure sex appeal right there. I don't know.
You're right. He does have that top button unbuttoned. It's like, oof.
The charisma alone.
Yum.
Yeah.
It's also the fucking cat lady thing is such a trope. And what I really loved about this comment, especially because Pete Buttigieg, God bless, is such a good speaker. When he talked about Pete Buttigieg not having kids. And then in an interview right after that, Pete said, he couldn't have known this, meaning like he's not accusing him of attacking him, which I think was just him trying to be nice and polite. But he's like, what, my husband and I just went through a really painful adoption process where they weren't able to adopt. And it's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good that you just stepped on a fucking rake again. What are you doing?
Yep. Well, and then 2 months after he said that, Buttigieg and his husband, through a surrogate, gave birth to twins. like
Mhm.
literally weeks after their surrogate was pregnant during the.
Oh,
And if you think that
amazing.
cat ladies don't care about the future for their cats, you're wrong. You know what? I feel like that is a demographic that's being trampled on right now. And I think cat ladies have
Yeah.
just as much such a stake in the game as anyone else, because those cats matter.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally people that leave their entire estates to their pets, and
Precisely.
I'm going to be one of them. So,
See?
Well, there was
Like, I'd be
a
wrong with it.
celebrity who did that. I forget who it was. She left her fortune to her cats. And it was like
I think
100.
I think you're
over
thinking of the
100
Club of
million grand.
Aristocats. I think you're thinking of the Club of Aristocats. What happened there?
you know what they say,
Yeah,
cats need
well,
Robin.
Muddy.
I wish I remembered. Yeah, but you know what though? Here's the other thing: is when they like it does reveal so much about them. Not just that they're ignorant and lazy, because Kamala Harris has 2 stepchildren and had them when he made that remark. So like it's insulting to anyone who's in a blended family, which is a lot of people. But then on top of that, that they didn't do their research, didn't bother to do it. But like it shows how they think of people as just breeding machines. That's all they are. Women are baby factories, and men are, they're worthless
Mhm.
unless they have kids.
It's
It's
almost
also
like
like
he-
when. Okay.
No, yeah, it's almost like he fell out of the coconut tree.
It was, of course, and when Hillary was running, it's like, well, how can she be president? She's a mother and a grandmother. She needs time for that. And now it's like, this woman doesn't have any biological children. Well, how could she possibly be president? She's never had children. And it's like, you never birthed children either, JD. Well, are you having kids out of your dick hole? What are you talking about? It's so insane.
No, like I
We'll
have a
get to that.
theory
We'll get to
that,
that.
like, his pickle. I hope we won't. I hope that's a topic we don't have later on in the show. No, I have a theory that JD Vance, all of these like people who are super like into like, oh, we need to make sure we're having more kids. I mean, it's always the same people. It's like, and I think it's the same reason that he's into that. It's the same reason that he did his whole like conversion to Catholicism. Like, I think that this is my interpretation of events from what I've read and seen about him. I think that his lament over like evangelical America is that there is no central power to it. Whereas inside of Catholicism, right, there is the hierarchy. And what I think that his whole thing, and a lot of these people are doing this, are trying to recreate an American Catholic hierarchy. And that's one of the reasons he like did the whole conversion thing, is to make sure there's a centralized power to a religious structure. And that whole having tons of kids thing is part of it.
Yeah, and
although of course they hate them. Sorry, they hate the Pope. So there's that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to create essentially an American hierarchy, Catholic hierarchy that rejects Vatican II and has like essentially Mel Gibson as their Pope. I think that's their plan.
Listen, I don't know what would even change if Mel Gibson was the Pope. Would things be different?
Yeah, mass would be in Latin still, so that's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone would have to eat beef jerky, I think.
So far, their biggest criticism of Kamala is that she laughs. They're just like releasing videos
Yes.
of clips back to back of her laughing. And what's so great, I mean, in comedy, they say, I mean, in life, whatever, people like dictators, people like Trump hate more than anything, hate to be made fun of. They can't handle being mocked. And they think also that she can't handle being mocked. And it was like within fucking hours of her announcement, the internet went crazy, and people are putting coconuts in their bios, and people are kind of like embracing her, but kind of like fucking with her a little bit and making fun of the coconut thing, and the brat thing was released, and these videos of her laughing. And I think the right is going to continue to melt down as she doesn't care about that stuff.
Yeah,
She's
she's
just
heard
not
herself
going to
laugh.
give a shit.
Like, she's heard that. She knows that it sounds ridiculous. It's not bothering her any.
It's also
Yeah,
like,
well,
this
Who
reminds me of
cares?
when the Obamas were in office, and there was like a photo of Michelle Obama cheering on a girls basketball team that went around, and there's all these racists there like, America, what went wrong? And it's like, huh?
Yeah.
It's like
And
side by
it's
side
all
with her and
mother.
Jackie O. I'm like,
I hate it.
Well, but think about it though. Like, have you ever seen Donald Trump laugh? No.
So sure, maybe like chuckle,
like-
not like belly laugh, like
That's
like
what
just,
I'm
like,
saying,
his
like,
shoulders move,
yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
Yeah. So what is better? Somebody who actually laughs and is into it, or some, sociopath who's so repressed and hateful of it, the entire world that he can't laugh at all, beyond a
Yeah.
I mean,
He laughs like
that's
how I
really
would
what-
imagine.
Yeah, and like JD Vance, does he
Frankenstein
laugh?
voice.
I don't think this guy laughs either.
No,
seriously.
no. And does he have eyeliner tattooed on? I mean, I don't want to shame
think he
anyone
does.
for doing that, but it does look like it.
No, I went on a JD Vance rabbit hole just last night because after I read the whole couch situation, which I'm sure we'll get to, I was like, is that real? And I got the book, I read through it, I like looked at a bunch of pictures and videos of JD Vance, and yeah, no, there's a before and after eyeliner event, and it's real. So
Yeah,
I don't even understand how much they could save themselves all the bullshit if he just came out and was like, yeah, I had eyeliner tattooed on. Anyway, moving on. Like, because what would we
Also-
be able to do about that?
Well, also, isn't it just like, but to admit that though, like it would be the height of absurdity, because this is the party of peak hetero male masculinity, and their candidates wear makeup every day, tons of it.
Yes.
no, with the
I just-
JD Vance like announcement that he's going to be the VP candidate, like I think that essentially what they were doing was they're like, okay, everyone who's going to vote for Trump's going to vote for Trump. JD Vance is such as this tiny little minutia of people that he might bring along with him, but like they couldn't think of anyone else that has like any other slight group that might come along with him. And then and that's why they're so mad that Biden dropped out, because after Biden dropped out, like, oh man, we could have announced somebody that had a little bit broader appeal, that maybe like somebody who could have got some of these other people. And I think they're like kicking themselves in the ass for doing a JD Vance
definitely.
like just weeks before the Biden dropout. Like I think they're a little upset about that.
Oh yeah.
I saw a rumor, who knows if it's true, but I saw a rumor that, well, you may know if it's true. I feel like I kind of half see something and I'm like, true. That's me about 30% of the time. But the rumor was that Elon Musk called Trump and encouraged him to choose JD Vance, which
Maybe it's true.
sounds correct.
Maybe it's
Okay, I
true.
was going to say it sounds correct because Elon has said in a number of interviews people should only have sex for procreation, and I'm like, you fucking loser dork. And also he's had like 20 kids or whatever. I mean, he has so many children.
I thought, according to Elon Musk, you should
And they
have
all hate him.
sex so you could have racehorses. I thought that was what that was for. I thought wasn't that what he was giving people? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as far as we know, yeah, it seems like they all hate him as well. So he's got a good track record of advice. Yeah. So, but yeah, people are definitely excited about the race taking into a new dimension. And vote.org said that they tracked a 700% increase in voter registrations after Biden ended his
Insane.
campaign.
Insane.
And,
It's mostly young people.
No,
Yeah, and we talked about it on our premium episode. Hint. That she raised a record in single day fundraising as her candidacy was announced, and so yeah, people are excited about it.
I still hold on to that. Like Biden could have been like pointed his finger at anybody. Like I support some random guy from Iowa's candidacy for president. And that person would have been got the highest fundraising boost in history as well. Like just because no one was excited, no one wanted another like to vote for Biden. Nobody wanted any of that, and to have anybody, and especially somebody that wasn't 1,000 years old, like they were pumped.
Yeah, I think the last 8 years have been so exhausting with one president or another constantly in and out of bedtime, and I think we just need literally anything to feel excited about. I mean, I totally agree with you, Lance. Anyone could have run. And I was dying for Biden to drop out because I thought this is the perfect time to throw in somebody that's more progressive or a woman or some kind of wild card, because I think anyone is going to beat Trump, just because even people on the right are. What was it before Biden dropped? It was like something like 75% of Americans or 79% of Americans didn't want to vote for either candidate. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's bad. That's not a democracy.
Yeah, it's like we haven't been a functional democracy for a while, but it's like now people aren't even pretending that we are. Like that gets a little dangerous.
Yeah, at least give us something to imagine about, guys, please.
For real.
But and back to what you were saying though, Lisa, about that they or sorry, I guess it was Lance. What you were saying, Lance, earlier about that they might have been. Damn it! Actually, I can't remember which one you guys said that.
One of us definitely did.
About
at the same time
that they're kicking himself.
In harmony.
Okay.
All right. We spoke it in unison, and they're kicking themselves in the ass over picking JD Vance.
Okay. Well, especially when you look at the polls, he has made history as the most unpopular vice presidential nominee ever.
And I think it was a solid pick when it was going up against Biden, because any small group of people they could have brought up would have been great. But when you're going against a very exciting candidate, you're going to have to go with someone a little bit more central, like maybe picking, I don't know, even the Sanders or something. I don't know, not saying Bernie Sanders, obviously, but Huckabee. Like if you just like somebody else that had a wider appeal and might have gotten a few of the centrist Democrats that are like, oh, you know what, I'm whatever. But I don't know. I think JD Vance is
mushy middle.
Mushy middle. These mushy middle people that do apparently exist from some polling that I've looked at just recently. I was like, wow, no, I think that was a real thing.
It is.
He missed the memo that you're supposed to you're not supposed to say out loud that you hate women. You're supposed to do everything to show that you hate women, but know that people aren't paying attention really. They're only paying attention to what you say. And he's coming out and like he's moments away from saying single childless women should be shot in the street. I mean,
redistributed.
I do think
to go back to the numbers here, like the Pew Research Center, they actually did a study and they found that about half of adults who are under 50 say they are never going to have children. So he's automatically pissed off half of the possible voters that they could get with that remark. And then on top of that, the other thing about it is that he's just so weird. Like people don't like this guy, and he's just creepy. He's like he's going for the demographic that I call school shooter Americans. That's who he's going for.
Absolutely, he's going for the Jordan Peterson crowd. And also to your point, Matt, about him alienating people that don't want to have kids, there are a lot of people, I think, on both sides that desperately want children and haven't been able to conceive. Maybe they've had another thing. I think men don't know, or maybe like men with kids know a little bit more. I certainly didn't realize until I was like well into my 30s is that fucking what's it called? Miscarriages are very common. I mean, I have some friends that have had like 2 miscarriages. And my roommate has had 3, and she was desperate to have kids. And it's like, it's not anything she's been doing wrong, and some people also want to have kids and cannot afford them because of the economy that we've all made here. So I'm so glad he said that. Merry Christmas.
And it's like then Republicans also want to take away IVF and take away any sort of method for people who can. And that was something actually that Jennifer Aniston, who normally does not say anything about politics, she came out and said that she was like, I really hope that your daughter can have natural kids someday so that that her father will think she has some worth in life. And for her, she won't have to have IVF because you're trying to take that away from people like us. And so, no, exactly. And to underline the desperation, though, the Trump campaign filed a lawsuit to try to block Kamala Harris from accessing donations that were made to her when she was on the ticket. And
Yeah,
And, like,
I
that's-
saw that, but
that's
I don't
crazy.
understand. I don't even understand like what grounds they're trying to claim. Like, I just don't get it. Like, what is it? Like, I just don't. I don't even like. I tried to look into it, and I just was like, "This is dumb. I don't understand it, and it's dumb. And I don't like it."
Wasn't she also the only one that could legally take the campaign donations because she was on the ticket? That was my understanding. Was that was part of the decision to move her forward.
Yes, it was. And
And thank God
but-
she was VP, because I feel like if that wasn't the case, they would have. If that wasn't the case, that it was illegal to give it to somebody else, I feel like we would just be doing another fucking old white guy just to be
or-
safe, you know.
And then have to put the thing on GoFundMe or something to start over. But yeah, no, it was apparently they're claiming that it was fraud. And to quote the lawsuit, they said it was that Harris is, quote, seeking to perpetrate a $91.5 million heist of Joe Biden's leftover campaign cash.
Can you rob somebody that gives you money? I'm misunderstanding that.
If it's
Well,
yourself.
Trump found a way a few times.
Yeah, if anyone could, it would be him.
Yeah,
So
like the whole
But,
time when he got like he promised a bunch of money to, I think it was like veterans, and then the checks never showed up. All the people gave money for it, and then he never gave the checks over to the veterans. Like he's got a long history of robbing people who give him money. It's pretty impressive.
yeah, and that children's charity that they ran also.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forget the details, but yeah, they got
Oh, the
he had to
college
settle for that.
mistakes.
Yeah. Yep. So but I mean, yeah, this is like a Rudy Giuliani level lawsuit of quality. Giuliani's seal of quality. So but and the thing is about these right-wing judges, like they want to rule in favor of Republicans and be biased for it. But if you give them a giant pile of shit, they're too prideful to be like, yes, I'm going to eat all of that right now. They won't do it, and that's what this is. So I don't think it's going to work.
And in fantastic news for me, because I run cold, I'm a lizard person. The world has braked. The world has braked. Whoopsie! I don't speak English anymore. We have broken the hottest. We have broken the record for the hottest day on Earth twice this week. It's really great because right now the Midwest is kind of the only thing that's affordable anymore, like rural Indiana, and pretty soon it will have the climate of California. So best of both worlds, right, guys? Right?
Well,
Or
I mean,
Arizona.
I did. We were just talking shit about JD Vance, but you think it's a coincidence that he is the VP nominee and then it's the hottest days ever? I think it's directly correlated to how attractive this man is.
I think
Maybe
so.
so.
I think a lot of people like eyeliner, so it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, this is an illustration of what's at stake though in the election, that you've got Trump, who wants to remove the United States from all these climate change accord agreements, and then a president and vice president who negotiated these things and enacted the biggest climate change mitigation law in, as far as I know, any other country that's ever been done. And it could have been better, but still, like this is what's at stake. So if people want a future, like that's the thing. They talk about people not having a stake in the future. And then they also want everybody to drive, a gasoline car that gets 4 miles a gallon. It's like,
Yeah, they're like, but
okay,
if the Earth
you're lying.
collapses, yeah. Oh, I hate
All
that.
about the vision of the Earth they want people to inherit. It's like they just really like the whole desert aesthetic, so they're trying to just recreate that everywhere.
That's right. And,
Yeah.
and see, that goes to the Mel Gibson thing. Like, this is,
You know
they're
what?
trying to enact Mad Max. And so,
Hold on
and
a
your
second.
child can be a slave in that world. Who wouldn't do that?
So if you'll recall, a lot of these people think and have thought that Obama is a lizard person. And so maybe they're just trying to make the Earth more inhabitable for him and his people. Do you think
I'm
maybe
still-
this is reaching across the aisle?
No, it's the one thing I might agree with. And Obama probably was a lizard. I don't know. You can't prove he wasn't.
There's no evidence.
Yeah.
Snopes has no comments on it. A Kenyan lizard.
In more political news, we have that New Jersey Democratic Senator Robert Menendez, he got convicted of a buttload of crimes and accepting bribes, and is finally resigning from Congress after people asking for it for, I think, months now or years, was it? I'm not sure, but yeah, this guy is legendarily corrupt. He took bribes in gold bars, and I mean, don't you realize that only Donald Trump can get away with crimes like that? My guy, come on.
Was it him who was taking gold bars from like Turkish land developers or something like that? Was that him?
That was him. Yeah, that was him.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Smart guy.
Yep, and he had his wife carry some of the bribes around in her purse so that he thought the police wouldn't check in her purse when they came to raid him.
Wow.
And
Has he
magically
never
they
seen
did.
Goodfellas? They go for the white purse. So many lessons to learn from that movie.
They need to do a reality
Yeah.
TV show with him and like Blagojevich and see, like have like
Oh man,
I don't know who could be like the most corrupt, or I don't know. There's got to be a better name than that.
I miss Rod Blagojevich. I mean, as somebody from just outside of Chicago, what a fucking character.
Oh,
What a
Rowan, what's
character.
that Canadian politician, the coked out guy? Oh God, what's
Oh
his
my
name?
God, Marion
Throw him
Barry.
in the mix. Was that? Yeah, I'm thinking of a different guy, but he's probably
yeah.
also there.
Yeah, Marion Barry's not Canadian, right? Listen, Lance, you know how I come in with these facts. They're
hey, everybody
The only reason-
brings alternative facts, Lisa.
The only reason I remembered Marion Barry, by the way, is it is a strain of weed gummies at the place I go to.
What?
Oh, really? They're named after
Flavor of
him.
Weed gummies. They named them Marion Barry.
That's a great name though. That's clever. I like that.
Yeah, he was the crack guy, right?
He was,
I mean,
yeah.
RFK could go.
Who is
He
it?
was a crack guy too, so why not?
Yes, yeah. The world would
RFK
be
is
better
sane now.
if that's what he did. You could, just stick that guy in a locked room with a bowl full of various drugs and some cooked dog, and he'd be good. Leave us alone.
Christ. Christ.
But speaking of criminals, Benjamin Netanyahu, the president or the prime minister of Israel, was in D.C. And he was invited to come and speak before Congress, of course, by Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House. And you know what? This was a thing that it was like a balloon that had slowly deflated. I feel like a PR stunt that really didn't end up how they thought it would be, because half of Democrats did not attend the speech, and Kamala Harris did not attend either. Oh, and also, by the way, JD Vance did not attend either. I have to note that, which is because Republicans were like,
Because
these anti-Semitic Democrats didn't show up, and it's like, guys, look, you're beat.
Well, Matt, the reason JD didn't show up is because when everybody was in one room, he went into the lounge to fuck a couch. So he
You're
was
getting
like, I
ahead of
gotta
us
get it
there,
while
Lisa,
nobody's
but yes.
looking. Oh, we can talk about it. We can talk about every other story, actually.
It's
I
not
think
in the
that's
book.
fair. I think that's fair. No, that's and so Biden, as far as we know, when we're recording this on Thursday, Biden has not met with Netanyahu either, and there are indications he's not going to do it at all either. And Chuck Schumer and a bunch of other Democrats who did attend, they were doing it to basically protest him. Schumer didn't shake his hand, and actually Ilhan Omar busted out a sign in there as well. And then I got to give some props to some of the families of the hostages who were taken by Hamas. They walked out in the middle of the speech because they thought that he was, very justifiably so, that he's dragging this thing out for his own political survival. Like, that's what he's doing. And They called him on it by leaving. Like, that's obviously what's happening, because the moment that conflict ends, Netanyahu's in jail. That's what's going to happen.
It's so disgusting that someone is willing to continue to burn people alive and snipe children for their own career. It's crazy to me that he was able to address Congress. We've seen videos.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be fair though, he was doing it before he was in trouble with the law too. So, you know, like he's this is his stick with or without having the threat of jail time. But yeah, no, like on CBS Sunday morning, just like this weekend, they had the trauma surgeon who was talking about the different kids he sees from Gaza who had sniper bullets in the chest and the head. 2 shots. No one shoots a kid on accident 2 times. Right. No. Like, so like each of these kids are getting double tapped, and then like people are it's finally finding its way onto like mainstream media, but it's taken forever. Like just 2 days ago now, there was the video of the IDF going through and destroying ultrasound machines, just like destroying ultrasound machines, and like they're ramping up the violence to a degree because one, they know they have the finger on America's pulse very, very well. We are all very caught up in what's going on with the election. Like, this is insane. The whole world is now looking at this. And as soon as this happens, just like the Super Bowl, like you see what's going on in Israel and go off the charts insane again. Like it's just like a terrible MO. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And I don't know how anyone is still supporting it. I really don't. And it's like, obviously Hamas are terrorists, but again, like you're saying with the kids being sniped, there is no more precise way to kill somebody than with a sniper.
Yeah. But also in crime news, Rupert Murdoch, another world-renowned criminal, is suing his own children now, and out of it's funny because like a lot of people I'm seeing on social media, they're like, this is just like Succession. And I'm like, guys, Succession was based on him, not the other way around.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he is such a ideological freak, and so committed to reactionary propaganda that he's altering his will to stop. So most of his children are not right-wing shitheads like him. Only one of them is. And of course, he made the right-wing shithead child, Lachlan, be his main heir, running the companies after he dies. But legally, his children of his first 2 wives, I think he's got 5, who knows? I lost him. But anyway, his children are, yeah, that's right. And in a way. And anyway, but most of his children are kind of like vaguely kind of centrist, leftist kind of. So they're definitely not, reactionary freaks like Fox News and Sean Hannity. And so he's rewriting the will to make it so that their stakes will be banned from voting against their brother to get him fired. And it's just, this is incredible. I have to
see now. What a way to invest in the future. You have children, you sue them. These are the kind of people that we need out there voting.
In our final day, your final days of your life, you're like, kids, Daddy's going to sue you. Gather around.
Care. Yeah.
What a psycho. But speaking also of psycho fathers, we have Billy Ray Cyrus, who was just revealed on a leaked audio to have called his daughter Miley Cyrus a devil and a skank, and he hates her.
That's really surprising to me because I thought she was close with her family, but it's like Dolly Parton is her godmother, and she still really supports her. So I don't know. If Dolly's on your side, I think that's better than Billy Ray being on your side, personally.
For certain. Like, and I have a rule of thumb, and no more than a rule of thumb. It's kind of a guide line that I live by. It's like, if Dolly says a thing, I'm behind it, whatever it is.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you might want Billy Ray on your side if you were, wanting some
Scoot, scoot, boogie.
cartons of cigarettes and machine guns or something.
Or whomever that is.
Yeah, that's about the only reason you'd want him on your side. So it's not looking well for him. But okay, so all right, so our last story, which we have hinted at, and I'm sure everybody listening to this has already had some fun with it, is that JD Vance has become the subject of a bunch of rumors about his proclivities with seating things, yeah. It all started with the guy that made up a tweet that he was like, on page 179 of Hillbilly Elegy, he talks about how he had sex with a glove on the couch. And I just love it because like this really shows the difference between the left and the right media ecosystems, I think. It's like people on the right wing, if this was the reverse where, they would have people saying it was true already. And actually believing it. They would believe this if someone had made this joke up for them.
I wanted it to be true so badly.
I did too.
That's why I got, like I said, I got the book and read through it. I was like, it's not there. It's not there. I was very disappointed.
Well, everybody can see it. Yeah, you can visualize it even though you don't want to, but yes.
I love it so much because it's absolutely ridiculous. And whoever came up with this and just like tweeted it out, I'm sure they didn't expect it to be covered by fucking AP at some point. And it's like, this is ruining this man's life, and I am thrilled by it. The number of people also that are not going to fact check this, that are not going to read the book, it's just, people don't even read fucking 5-paragraph articles, let alone a whole book.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. And if there's anybody that deserves it, it's him. Like to me, this is a redo of what happened to Rick Santorum that in 2003, I think it was, or whatever year he ran, one of those years he ran for president, he was saying that he thought that homosexuality should be regulated like adultery or anything else, and he was like, this is just not standard, so the government has the right to control it. And so after that, Dan Savage, the sex columnist, was like, you know what, I'm going to call the mix of lubricant and feces Santorum. And so now if you look for that on the internet, that is actually what you see first in a lot of search engines.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yep. So and there's so many memes out there, and so many of them are good. I saw one that was his high school girlfriend. It was the chair from Pee Wee Herman.
It's so good. And keep a lookout, guys, as we wrap up here, for my Instagram, because I have a really funny joke about men fucking couches. And I had it long before JD Vance. So check out my Instagram at Olympian Lisa Curry, and you will see that dropped. When this drops, Friday.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And Lance, where can people keep up with you as well?
My Twitter, @Lance. You can follow me there or over at Flux.
Okay. Sounds good. And everybody check out @Doom Scroll Show on all the places. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.